Welcome all. This is Deepika presenting you a session on for statement in Python. So let us get into the concept. So formally, we shall define what a loop is first. The loop is defined as the block of statements which are repeatedly executed for a certain number of time. So that is how we define a loop as a block of statements that are repeatedly executed. So when this gets stopped, that can be specified using any condition. So that is what a loop is. So in order to implement the concept of looping in programming, Python supports two statements. One is for and another one is while. So in this video, we'll discuss in detail about the first one, that is the for loops. So for loop in Python can be utilized in two forms. The one is it can be used along with any of the sequence objects, and another one is it can be used along with the range function. So let us see what is the syntax for loop when it is used with the any of the sequence object. So this is how a for loop or for statement can be written in Python. So for is the keyword which is followed by a variable name, and in is the operator, and next is the sequence object we have to provide. Sequence objects can be a list or a tuple or a string or a set or dictionary, whatever it is. And the for statement is ended with the colon. And after that, with the indentation, we'll write the block of statements that are to be repeatedly executed. So we can add any number of statements for this for, and what the statements that are to be repeatedly executed has to follow the same indentation space. So this is how for can be used in a sequence. And how it works. So let us discuss with the example of a list. Let us consider list as a sequence object. So the working of for with the list is it will iterate through all the items in the list, and for all the items in the list, the statements get executed, which means if the list contains 5 elements, the print statement inside the for will be executed for 5 times. So that's the repeated execution, right? And the syntax for the for loop over range function is this one. For I in range, so inside that parenthesis, it shall accept 3 parameters. So out of these, first and the last parameters are optional one. If it is needed, we shall provide, and it will work perfectly when even a single value is passed to it. And the same thing, so whatever be the statements that are to be repeatedly executed, that has to be included next to the for statement having the same indentation space. So this is how for can be used in Python, either with the sequence object or with the range function. So let us have an example of how for works with a sequence or iterable object. For that, we shall consider a list. So here you can see the variable name is mylist, which is assigned to 4 values, which means mylist is basically a list which contains 4 values, and the values are 10, 15, 20, and 35. And now we are writing a for loop, and the statement is for as a keyword followed by the variable name called num in mylist. So while writing the for statement using the sequence of iterable object, so the variable name that we are using next to the for can be anything that we are using for the first time. and the sequence or iterable object that we are using after the keyword in should be predefined, right? So in this case, we have already defined my list, and that variable is used in this for loop, which means so the loop will execute for each and every item that is available in the list. For example, our list contains 4 items, so the loop will be executed for 4 times, and for each iteration or each execution, the variable num will be representing the values of the list. When it executed for the first time, it will represent the first element, and when it executes for the second time, it will represent the second element, and when it executes for the fourth time, it will represent the last element in the list. And one statement that we are including in the for is the print statement. So inside print, we have used the variable called num. So how this for loop works? So as we all know, the for loop works for each item that is available in the list. As the list contains 4 elements, the print statement inside the for will be executed for 4 times. And each time it will print the variable num, and the num for every iteration, it represents every item in the list. So when we try to execute this statement, it will give us the output like this. So for each iteration, it will print the current value which is available in the num variable. So this is how for can be used with the iterable object. The second usage of for is with the range function. So range function, or we can call this as a generator, so which is used to generate a list of numbers. So this is how we are going to use this. So keyword is for, followed by the variable called num, and in range 1 comma 10, which means the range function will generate numbers starting from 1 and up to 10, but not including it, which means it will generate number starting from 1 and it goes up to 9, right? So always the numbers will be generated one less than the value specified as the stop parameter, right? So here also we are having only one print statement inside that for loop. So the loop in this range executes for the total numbers that are generated by the range function. That many times this loop gets executed. So when we try to print the variable num, we'll possibly get what are the values which are generated by the range function. So when we execute this, so this will be the output we'll get. So this is how the for loop can be used. So one is it can be used with the sequence object or a treble object, and another one is it can be used along with the range function. And with that intro, we shall explore the concept discussed in Python programming. Okay, so we shall discuss the concept of for loops in sequence objects like list or string or tuple. So once we are done with this, we shall discuss how the for can be used with the range function. So let us first create a list called my list with the values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 and 100. So totally there are 10 elements in the list. So now I just want to use a for loop to print the element in the list. So how shall I do is, I'm going to use the keyword called for followed by a variable called number in my list. right? So when we hit enter, it automatically waits after the indentation space. So here I'm going to type a print statement. So inside that, I just wanted to print the number. So how this for executes? So this for in this list executes, and for each execution, the variable number represent every item that is available in this list. So when we execute this, we'll get all the elements of the list gets printed. So let us execute and see what is the output. So this is the output, right? So here is actually the variable name that we just wanted to refer each and every item that is available in the list. So here we shall use whatever variable name. So if we want to use that item in our program code, we have to use the same thing. So if I execute this, again the output will be the same, right? And it is not necessary that we have to use only the same variable available here. So we can even have a concept like this. So as many for as many number of items available in the list, I just wanted to print the message hello all. So in this case, if I execute this, you could see hello all, the string constant that will be printed for the total, the number of elements that are available in the list, right? So this is how a for statement can be used. So here, whatever we use here denotes the variable name. And if we want to use the variable name inside the for loop block, so which means we just wanted to use the item that is available in the list, right? So this is how for loop can be used along with the list data type. So let us see another example. So in this example, we shall use the for loop to represent every character in the string, right? So here I just wanted to write Python. So this is another way. Either we shall assign this to any variable and that variable can be used in this place. Right now I'm directly using uh, the string constant here inside the for loop, right? And I'm using a print statement, and inside the print, I just wanted to refer the variable called letter. Can you guess what will be the output? So the working is similar. The letter will represent each and every character that is available in the string constant, right? So when we execute this, we'll get all the letters printed in individual line. So this is the output. So this is how it can be used along with the string data type. And we should even assign the string constant in one variable, and we shall use that variable in the for statement. So I'll show how to use that. So now I just used a variable called myString, and to that myString I'm assigning a string constant called Python programming, right? And if I want to get all the characters that are available in the myString, I shall use a for loop, and after the keyword in, I have to specify the variable which is defined already. So in this case, I'm using myString, right? So if I execute this, we could see the output as Python programming, right? Each characters that are printed in a separate line, and you can even notice that space is also taken into account. For even for space, the print statement is getting executed. So this is how for can be used with the string data type. So the same way we shall use for loop to iterate over the tuple data type. So tuples can be represented using parentheses. So here we shall have a list of numbers as tuple, and if I want to refer all those elements, I shall use for loop. So here I'm using for, num is a variable and n is an operator. So I just want to refer the tuple elements. So I'm just using the already defined variable name called my tuple, and inside this I'm just using a print statement and I'm just printing the number. So we shall execute and see. Yeah. So here you could see the for loop, actually the print statement print num prints these numbers, and you could see the print statement is executed for 10 times, right? For each time it executes, the variable num is actually representing the item that is available in the tuple. So this is one way of using for loop, and with this idea, if even we shall impose the conditional or control flow statement that we already discussed, right? So say for example, I just wanted to get all the odd numbers which are available in the my tuple, right? So to get odd numbers from my tuple. So for this, we are supposed to impose the uh, control flow statement inside a for loop. So let us see how we shall do that. So now I shall write a for loop. So for num in my tuple, and here I just wanted to specify the condition to get odd number, right? And what is the condition? We shall use if the number divided by 2 is equal to 1, right? So modulo operator gives as the reminder. So now the condition is the number for every number in the my tuple, when it is divided by 2, and if we got the reminder as 1, then only we just want to print the number, right? So here we just added a filter, right? So instead of displaying all the elements, I just wanted to get only the odd numbers. So if we execute the statement, possibly we could get the odd numbers which are available in the list, right? So you shall try for the same tuple. In order to get the even number, what condition has to be included here, right? So that I leave to you. So this is how a for loop can be used with the sequence data type, right? So we discussed how a for can be used with a list, a string, or tuple. And now we shall discuss how it can be used along with the range function. So for loops using range function, right? So we just referred the range function is taking 3 arguments. One is start, and another one is stop, and another one is step. So these 3, out of which start and step are optional, right? So start and step both are optional. So if not specified, the default value for the start will be taken as 0, and if not specified, the default value for step will be taken as 1, right? So both the thing if not specified. If not specified, the start and step, the default value will be 0 and 1. So let us see how the range function works, right? So if I use range of 10, right? So we don't specify start and we don't specify step. So if not specified, the start will start from 0, right? So the range function, if we execute it, it will print the values starting from 0 and up to 9. It will not include the value 10, right? So let us execute this and see, right? So if we simply use the range of 10, it will give us range of 10, right? So I just converted the range, the generated function inside the list. So whatever the values that are generated by the range function will be converted into a list, and that is enclosed inside the print statement. So we are seeing what is the output of this, right? And we shall customize the working of range function by specifying the start value. So if we only specify one number, it will be taken as the value for the stop, and it will generate numbers starting from 0 and up to 10, but not including 10, right? So we are getting all numbers all the way from 0 to 9. And if I use 1 in the range function, which means I just specified the start value must be 1. So if we execute it, we'll get the value starting from 1 to 9, right? If I wanted the list to include 10, possibly I have to include the stop value as 7, so that it will generate the numbers up to 10, right? And in this 11, so if I specify 1, there won't be any change. I'll execute and see there won't be any change. So if I use the step value as 2, which means starting value is 1 and stop value is 11 and step value is 2. So what this range function will generate is, it will generate numbers like 1, and next number will be 3, next number will be 5, and it just goes on up to 9, right? So we shall execute and see, right? So this is how the range function is used to generate a set of numbers. So now we shall use for loop to execute some block of code for number of times, right? In that case, we shall use this range function. For num in range of 11, 1 comma 11, print num. Can you guess what will be the output? So as we all know, the variable that is next to the for will represent each item that is specified in the range, right? So the print statement will print numbers starting from 1 and up to 10, right? So we shall execute and see how this works, right? So if we change the value, and accordingly the print statement will be executed, right? So if I specify 2 here, probably it will be executed, the loop will be executed only for 5 times, right? So only for 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So that is how range function can be used along with the for loop, right? So with that basic idea, let us try to code for the practice problem given here. The first one is to print factors of the given number, right? So what is basically factors of a given number? So how shall we define factors as, what are the values that are divisible, right? So we are just getting an input from the user, and we just wanted to find the numbers which are dividing the given number, right? So all those are said to be the factors, right? So how shall we use for loop for getting factors of the given number? We shall see in this example. So for this, I'm just using a print statement to print the title of this program, that is factors of the given number. So So whatever we type, that should be included inside the single quotation, right? And only it will be treated as a string constant. So now we just wanted to get a number from the user for which we are supposed to identify the factors, right? So for that, I'm using a variable called number, and for this, I just wanted to get input from the user. And the message is enter the number to find its factors. So we are just going to get a single value from the user, and for that we are going to find the factors of that number. So whatever user given value, that is available in the variable called number. And now we shall use the for loop for num in range. So here we shall use the range function, and a number divisible by the numbers, we shall start from 1 and we shall go up to that number to identify which are all the numbers which divides the given number, right? So for that I'm using the range function starting from 1 and up to that number. We don't need to include that number. That's why I'm using the given value in the range function. And now here we want to check the condition, and the condition is the range will generate the number starting from 1 up to that number but not including it, right? So we just wanted to find what are all the values that divides the given number, right? So we shall use the number modulo num equal to 0. When the remainder is 0, which means the number divides the given number, right? So in that case, we shall print the number as it's one of its factors, right? So this is our program. So after this, let us use another print statement just to say that our program ends. So we shall execute this and see. So I'm going to give the input as 6, and the factors of 6 should be 1, 2, and 3. So let us check whether we are getting these values. So you could see the output. It is displaying the first message we have provided inside the print function, that is factors of the given number, and the input function is asking user to enter a number to find its factors. So I'll just enter the number as 6, and our expectation is the for loop should print the values 1, 2, and 3, and let us check it. Yes. So you could see what if we enter the number, the factors of the numbers are getting printed, right? But without any message. So even that we shall include in this program. So the for loop we are using here is to print the factors. So before the for loop begins, I'm just printing the message factors of the given number, right? So this is the message. So we shall re-execute the same code, and for the same message we could see the output as this, right? So this is how for loop can be used for solving problem like this. And the second practice problem is to print the numbers from 1 to 100 that are divisible by 3 and not divisible by 6. So this seems to be easy. So let us try coding for that problem, right? So we shall begin our coding by printing the title of our program, which is divisible by 3 and not by 6, right? So the main heading is numbers from 1 to 100, right? 1 to 100 which are divisible by 3 and not by 6, right? So note here, inside this single quotation, I have typed these many things, right? Which means whatever I type, that will be displayed in the output screen as a message, okay? And now we shall directly give another print statement for displaying the numbers. Displaying the numbers, right? For that, I'm going to use a for loop for number in range. So here in the problem itself, the range is specified from 1 to 100. So we shall take that, but 100 is included in that number, 100 is included in that numbers. So we have to use a number which is 1 greater than the given number, right? So for num in range 1 comma 101, which means the range will generate numbers all the way from 1 to 100, right? And the next step is we have to specify the condition, and the condition is if that number divisible by 3 should be giving as a reminder 0, and at the same time the number divisible by 6 should not be equal to 0. So upon satisfying these two conditions, I have to print what the number is. So if I print like this, I will possibly get the numbers which are divisible by 3 but not divisible by 6, right? So these two conditions has to be satisfied. So only the logical and operator I'm using here, right? So next thing is just to print that our program ends. I'm including the last print statement here, right? So let us execute and see what output we are getting. So here the message is displayed here, and after that we are displaying the number satisfying the given condition. So you could see the numbers here which are divisible by 3 but not divisible by 6. So that is how for loop can be used. So along with the sequence objects, or it can be used with a range function. Thank you all.